All right, so we are starting on page 503, lesson 8.3, that says connect fractions to division. And our essential question for this lesson is, how does a fraction represent division? So we are going to start off with our unlock the problem on this page. And our problem is there are 3 students in a craft class and 2 sheets of construction paper for them to share equally. What part of the construction paper will each student get? So our problem here is 2 sheets of paper divided by 3 people. We know that 2 sheets of paper is not enough for each of the 3 people to have one full sheet, so each person is going to get a fraction. So we're going to start modeling this problem by using a drawing. And it guides us through the steps on this problem. And our first step is to draw lines to divide each piece of paper into 3 equal pieces. So I'm going to go ahead and divide each of these rectangles into the 3 pieces. And again, they don't have to be perfectly even because we're just modeling the problem. Oops, sorry. And each student's share of 1 sheet of construction paper is what? So what they're asking is, from 1 sheet of construction paper, what fraction will each student get? Well, we know that when something is divided into 3 pieces, each piece is going to be 1/3. So if 3 people are sharing this, each person then is going to get 1/3 of that paper. Our next step is to count the number of thirds that each student will get. And since there are 2 sheets of construction paper, each student will get 2 of the what? Well, again, with our second piece, we know that each of the 3 pieces are also going to be divided into 1/3. So each person will get 2 of the thirds. Or, in other words, 2 times 1/3. So now we've got to complete this number sentence. 2 divided by 3 is what? We've already rewritten this as a multiplication problem, but I could also just look at my model. If I'm one of the 3 people, I'm going to get 1/3 of this page and 1/3 of this page. And I know that 1/3 plus 1/3 is 2/3. So 2 divided by 3 is actually 2/3. And this makes sense because I told you way back when that a fraction is actually just a division problem. If I were to write 2 divided by 3 as a fraction, I put my numerator over my denominator and I get 2/3. My last step here is to check my answer. Since quotient times divisor equals dividend, the quotient is correct. Now remember, our quotient is our division answer. So our division answer here was 2/3. Our divisor is the number we're dividing by, and our problem we were dividing by 3. So let's double check and see if 2/3 times 3 is equal to 2. So to do that, I'm going to multiply. And I know that to make 3 into a whole number, 3 into a fraction, I put it over the denominator 1. I don't know why my camera's lagging. Anyway. And then I am going to multiply across. So I know that 2 times 3 is 6. And 3 times 1 is 3. And to finish, I can divide my numerator by my denominator. And I know that 6 divided by 3 is 2. So that tells me that I am correct. And 2/3 times 3 is equal to 2. So the quotient is correct, which means that each student will get 2/3 of a sheet of construction paper. Alright, so now we're taking a look at the next page, page 504. We're looking at the example at the top, and we have another word problem to look at. And it says 4 friends share 6 sheets of poster board equally. how many sheets of poster board does each friend get? And they've already given us the equation that we're solving, and it's 6 divided by 4. So again, we're working with pictures. So our first step is to draw lines to divide each of the sheets into fourths. So they've already drawn 6 rectangles to represent the 6 sheets of poster board. We're going to divide each sheet of poster board into 4 pieces. So what I like to do is divide it in half and then divide each half in half. So then I have 4 pieces. So I'm going to go ahead and do that for the rest of the rectangles. Okay. Now the question it wants us to answer here is each friend's share of one sheet is what? So thinking about just one of those rectangles, if I'm dividing them into 4 pieces, each friend is going to get 1 out of 4 of those pieces. Oops, sorry, camera fell over. There we go. So each friend's share of one sheet of poster board, oh come on, is going to be 1/4. My next step is to count the number of fourths that each friend will get. Since there are 6 sheets of poster board, each friend will get blank of the fourths. So since there are 6 sheets of poster board, if one friend is going to get 1/4 of each of the poster boards, I'm going to color in 1/4 of each poster board. That means we're going to end up with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of the fourths, or we could write that as the fraction 6/4. So our step 3 is to complete the number sentence, and we're going to write the fraction as a mixed number in simplest form. So we already know that 6 divided by 4 is equal to 6/4. But it will make more sense, because I'm talking about pieces of poster board here, if I rewrite that as a mixed number. So I'm going to turn that into a division problem, and I know that I'm going to do a 6 divided by 4. So going through my long division steps, I know that 4 can divide into 6 only one time. I multiply 1 times 4 and I get 4. I subtract 6 minus 4 and I get 2. Now remember, to make that into my fraction, I bring my remainder up to become the numerator and the number I was dividing by to become my denominator. So I could say it as 1 2/4, but I also know that they wanted me to rewrite this in simplest form. So I'm going to simplify that fraction 2/4. I know that both 2 and 4 can be divided by 2. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. Remember, when I'm simplifying, I don't need to change my whole number, just the fraction. So if I do 2 divided by 2, that's going to be 1. If I do 4 divided by 2, that's going to be 2. So that means that each friend is going to get 1.5 pieces of poster board. So I'm going to fill in 1 and 1/2 here. Now my last step is to check my answer. So to check my answer, I'm going to try doing 6/4 or 1 1/2 times 4, and it should equal 6. So I'm going to double check. I ended up with the answer 6/4. And I'm going to multiply it by 4, which I can rewrite as 4/1. Remember that I can simplify diagonally before I multiply. I know that 4 divided by 4 is going to be 1, so I can change both of those to 1. If I multiply across, 6 times 1 is 6, and 1 times 1 is 1, and 6/1, it's equal to just the whole number 6, which is what it should be. So 6/4 times 4 does equal 6, so the quotient is correct. So each friend will get 6/4 or 1 1/2 sheets of poster board. Alright, so I'm on the next page, page 505, at the top where it says share and show, and we're going to take a look at a few more examples. So the instructions here ask us to draw lines on the model to complete the number sentence. So using pictures like we've been practicing. So looking at number 1, it tells me that 6 friends share 4 small pizzas equally, or in other words, we're solving the problem 4 divided by 6. So what I'm going to do is divide each of these circles, which are my pizzas, into 6 pieces. The way I like to do that is I'm going to draw a line down the middle and then an X. And I'll have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 pieces. I'm going to do that for the rest of my pizzas. And they don't have to be perfect. Okay. Now I need to figure out what each friend's share is going to be. So take my marker and I'm going to color in 1/6 of each pizza. So now counting what I've colored in, they will have 1, 2, 3, 4 pieces out of 6 pieces in each pizza total. And I could actually simplify this fraction because I know both 4 and 6 can be divided by 2. So 4 divided by 2 is 2, and 6 divided by 2 is 3. So I can simplify that to 2/3. So each friend's share will be 2/3 of the pizza. All right, looking at number 2, this problem says 4 brothers share 5 packs of stickers equally, or in other words, we're doing 5 divided by 4. So I've got 5 rectangles to represent the 5 packs of stickers, and I'm going to divide each rectangle into 4 pieces. Then I'm going to shade in 1/4 of each pack. So I know that the fraction is going to be out of 4, since I divided each rectangle into 4, and counting how many pieces I shaded in, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that's 5/4, which is an improper fraction, and I could change it to a mixed number. So remember, when I change to a mixed number, I just do my numerator, which is 5, divided by my denominator, which is 4. So going through my long division steps, I know that 4 can go into 5 one time. If I multiply 1 times 4, I get 4. If I subtract 5 minus 4, I get 1. And I don't have anything left to bring down. But I'm not going to write that as my remainder. I'm going to bring that 1 up. It's going to become the numerator in my fraction. And then this 4 becomes my denominator. So I could rewrite 5/4 as 1 1/4. So each brother will get 1 1/4 packs of stickers. All right, we're looking at number 3 on the same page. This time they don't have the models pre-drawn for us, but that's okay. We can still draw a picture. So this problem says 12 friends share 3 melons equally. What fraction of a melon does each friend get? So I'm going to draw out my 3 melons. So it's going to be 1, 2, 3. And I'm going to divide them into 12 pieces. So it's 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. Again, they don't have to be perfectly even. I'm just drawing lines until I get 10 pieces, or 12 pieces, sorry. Okay, So I've divided my circles each into 12 pieces. Now, I know that 12 friends are sharing it, so each person will get one piece from each melon. And I want to figure out what fraction that is. So I know that in each circle, there are 12 pieces total, and each person will get 3 of the pieces. So that's going to be the fraction 3/12. But I could actually simplify that. I know that I can divide both 3 and 12 by 3. So I can simplify by doing 3 divided by 3, which is 1, and then 12 divided by 3, which is 4. So each friend will get 3/12 or 1/4 of a melon. All right, with this last one, I'm actually not going to draw a picture. 3 students share 8 blocks of clay equally. How much clay does each student get? And our problem here is 8 divided by 3. You've noticed a pattern so far that our division problems have just ended up as a fraction with the number we're dividing over the number we're dividing by. For example, when I did 5 divided by 4, I ended up with 5/4. When I did 3 divided by 12, I ended up with 3/12. Makes sense that my answer here is then going to be 8/3. But an improper fraction doesn't really make sense here. So I'm going to need to change that into a mixed number. And what I'm going to do is just do that problem, 8 divided by 3. So I just go through my long division steps. I know that 3 can go into 8 twice. I know that 2 times 3 is 6. I know that 8 minus 6 is 2. And I'm not going to use this as my remainder. I'm going to bring it up and make it the numerator of my fraction, and then use the number I was dividing by, 3, as my denominator. So that means that I'm going to have 2 2/3, and each student will get 2 2/3 blocks of clay. All right, now comes time for you to try this on your own. So on page 507, I want you to try problems number 2, 3, 4, and 5, or do the IXL that I've linked. Remember that if you are doing the book pages, you need to send me a picture when you're done so I can give you credits. As always, do your best. Don't stress yourself out if you don't understand it. It's all for completion. I will talk to you guys soon. Have a great weekend. Bye.